Mr. Speaker.
It would help, yes. It would. I call the Honourable Member Hone Harawera. Tēnā koe, Mr. Harawera.
Kia ora mai ono rā tātou katoa. Mr. Speaker, way back in 1972, on September the 14th, 1972, a petition with more than 30,000 signatures was presented to Parliament, spearheaded by the Te Reo Māori Society and Ngā Tamatoa, calling for Te Reo Māori to be taught in schools. That petition led directly to the creation of Te Rao Te Reo Māori, which later became Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori, and to Māori being included in the school curriculum. That love for the language also led to the establishment of the world-leading initiative to teach Māori to preschool children, that is the Kohanga Reo movement. And from Kohanga, we got Kura Kaupapa, and from Kura, we got Whare Kura, and eventually we saw the establishment of Te Wānanga o Raukawa, Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, and Te Wānanga o Awanuiarangi. In fact, the 1980s was a big time for Te Reo Māori. The Māori language claim was lodged with the Waitangi Tribunal in 1985 by Huirangi Waikere Puru and Ngā Kaipaka Pūmau i Te Reo Māori, which sought official recognition for Te Reo Māori in places as diverse as the courts, government departments, local authorities, and even Parliament itself, and for the reo to be made compulsory in schools, a claim widely supported from all corners of the Māori world. The tribunal ruled that the Crown had failed to protect the Māori language and recommended that Te Reo Māori be legally recognised as an official language, that a statutory body be established to foster the use of Te Reo Māori, and that a broadcasting policy be formulated to help promote the language. And in 1987, the Māori Language Act was passed, making Māori an official language, and Te Taurāwhiri Te Reo Māori was established to promote the use of Te Reo Māori as a living language. Those initiatives were further enhanced by another claim led by Huirangi Waikere Puru and Ngā Kaipaka Pūmau i Te Reo Māori, stating that the Māori Language Act had failed to address radio and television broadcasting, and a claim from Sir Graham Latimer and the New Zealand Māori Council calling on the Crown to recognise Māori interests in radio spectrum. The Crown opposed both claims, and Māori were forced to take their case to the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and ultimately to the Privy Council, where they won support for an amendment to the Broadcasting Act in 1993 to establish Te Māngai Pāho to fund Māori language television and radio programs. Under the Minister at the time, the Honourable Maurice Williamson. Today we have 21 Māori radio stations around the country, and Māori television finally went to air on the 28th of March 2004. But in case anyone thinks that things are all okay with the reo now, please note that just 2 years ago, the Waitangi Tribunal ruled that government had breached the Treaty of Waitangi by systemically failing to fund and support Kohanga Reo's Māori language strategy, that government should apologise for its failings, and that it should appoint an independent advisor to oversee an urgent program to overhaul policy, increase participation, improve quality, increase funding, and provide the support necessary for the upgrade and maintenance of kohanga facilities. Now, that's just a snapshot of the last 40 years of the struggle that Māori have been through to get Te Reo Māori recognised and to get resources committed to keeping it alive. And in all of that, it's worth noting that the struggle was led by those who cared for the reo, those who had a deep and abiding love for the reo, and who did so often at great personal cost to themselves and their families. Many of those early pioneers either couldn't even speak the reo, or were themselves just taking their first tentative steps along the pathway of Māori language revitalisation. And they were often castigated by older, more conservative native Māori language speakers for daring to lead the charge for the reo. But their passion and their commitment and their refusal to take a backward step marked them out as true champions for the language. And that's the reason why Mana opposes the government's plan to take the language away from those who care for it and to give it to those who would corporatise it. A plan led by the Māori Party to scrap Te Taurāwhiri Te Reo Māori and Te Māngai Pāho and to put the language into the hands of corporate iwi leaders. And we oppose their plan because the grim reality is that iwi leaders are simply not capable at that level of managing such a taonga. They weren't there when the people needed them to lead the fight for the reo. Their corporate statements speak glowingly of the importance of the reo, but their financial statements suggest they have other priorities. The lack of management capacity as a national provider was highlighted by their inability to win the whānau water contract, even though it had been drafted for them by the Minister's advisors, and most importantly, when given the opportunity,
I call the
Te Nakwe.
Honourable Member Simon O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.